Yo, what's up? This is your boy Derek Branch, your Strike7Sports.com. This is another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast. I'm joined by my co-host Brian Botta and Leo the Seaberry. Bring you another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast. So, the opening bell, we're going to talk about some couple of news and notes and things that have, couple things that have went down with NFL, the NBA in the past, I would say 24 hours. I'm going to start off with the report that came out from an unusual source. I wouldn't even call him a source, but a person that's not, I would say, covers sports in general, about Matt Nagy possibly being let go on the day after Thanksgiving. So I got two different reports on this that came out. So there's the one that came from a Pulitzer Prize winner, Mark Conkle. He's the original source that reported it, and he's claiming that he has a strong somebody gave him strong information on this this subject, and that's Matt Nagy being fired on the day after Thanksgiving. So it came from The Patch, a website called thepatch.com. I got it pulled up on my screen right here, and I'm just going to just read a couple of notes from it. For disgruntled Bears fans looking for something to be thankful for after 5 straight losses, this is it. Matt Nagy will coach his last game for the Chicago Bears on Thanksgiving in Detroit. A top source with knowledge of the decision told Patch. Nagy was informed of his pending post-Turkey Day termination on Monday, the source said. Tuesday, in his news conference at Hollis Hall, Nagy told reporters that's not accurate. Nagy said he has not had any discussions with ownership due to the short week in preparation for Thursday's game. Quote, I have great communication with ownership, with George McCaskey, President Ted Phillips, and General Manager Ryan Pace, but I have not had any discussions. Nagy said, we have not talked this week, and that was scheduled. We have constant communications. I always think it's good and healthy when we stayed on course with the bye week, and with the short turnaround with game prep, we have not talked. Quote, end quote. All right, man. So that's the one story that came out on it. That's the original story. And this hasn't been really reported by any of the top insiders in the league right now. I didn't hear anything from Josina Anderson, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, the guy at Yahoo. I can't think of his name right now. Nobody ever heard from anybody, but there's another report that came out a few hours later saying that report is not accurate. So I want to get y'all's takes on this. Is this fair or foul if they fire this man the day after Thanksgiving?
I think it's foul because personally, he's doing the best that he can. This Bears team has pieces, but I just feel like overall, for him to get fired after Thanksgiving, it would be kind of messed up because if you were gonna fire him, I was listening to the Herd today, and Nick Wright was on. He was talking about if you were gonna fire the man, you should have fired him after the game Sunday. Why are you waiting? Why are you gonna wait till Thursday? There's no point. And I agree with that. But why would you tell a man, okay, if this is true, okay, you want you to coach this week for Thursday. We want you to coach Thursday, but we're gonna fire you Friday. What? That makes no sense. Just fire him now. This isn't Ed O. He's an Ed O. You're in for the coach the rest of the season. If you want to keep going, we should be going now. And by the way, I don't think he should be going as a head coach. Their Bears probably were way deeper than him. He's made the playoffs twice this year. This year, quarterback. I don't think any quarterback in the somebody else in the league can do that. But that's not even good. They fired him about to fire him, man. Right after Thanksgiving. It's the truth. But like you said, DB, none of the top guys, I didn't see this from Rappaport, I didn't see this from Schefter, I didn't see this from either of those Mortensen, none of those guys. They didn't report on this. So I kind of took this with a grain of salt. But it is very interesting that if they are going to fire him after the day, what they'll do in terms of having an interim coach.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, this will be short and sweet for me. I think it's fair that they fire him. It doesn't matter if you're gonna fire someone, fire him. I guess if you know you're gonna fire him regardless of this result, then they probably should have done it on Sunday. But the one thing I will say, if they lose to the Lions, you've not won a game. I'll be stunned if he's coaching past this next week. And not just, and I don't think he should just be fired. Pace should go too. So what would be if Nagy's fired, but Pace is still there. But if you're gonna fire Pace, fire Nagy, you might as well fire Pace too, because it was this guy and start all over.
Only problem that I have with what you're saying is, what are you firing Matt Nagy for?
For not winning games.
Excuse me. Have you seen? Was Mitchell Trubisky a good quarterback in Chicago? I just need this simple answer. Was he a good quarterback in Chicago?
He was better than you think. I'm not saying he wasn't great, but he was better than, if you look at the stats, he was better than you would think. Was he? But remember, they also brought in Nick Foles. He could have maybe gotten Cam Newton or someone, I don't know, but they had a chance to get more competition, and they brought in Nick Foles. So, is it maybe fair that the one thing you can say that isn't fair to him, but this was before he got there, is he was there after Trubisky was taken. If he was there when they were deciding between Deshaun and Trubisky, and he was all in on Trubisky like the case was, that would be different. If you want it, that's the only thing that I think is maybe fair. But he's lost the locker room, and he's just not winning. And I think Justin Fields and the Bears, especially Justin Fields, he needs a new QB, new coach, new offensive coordinator moving forward. And I just have one quick question. Dan Orlovsky, he put out there maybe Dan Mullen would be a good choice for the head coach. I wonder what your thoughts would be on that.
What did you say, Brian?
Dan Mullen.
He belongs on a college sideline, not on a front.
I don't know, because we all thought about that about Cliff Kingsbury, and look what he's did. I know it's just 1 year, but I understand, and I think Dan Mullen has better principles than Cliff Kingsbury, and he's one more. Yeah, it's true.
You do have valid points, and I actually on that point I wrong. And Dan Mullen won more in college than Kingsbury, because Kingsbury was a losing head coach in college. And so, but also I think Cliff Kingsbury went to the Texas Tech of the NFL in terms of Arizona with a way better defense. So he landed in a perfect situation. I don't think this will be Mullen. I don't think he's a cold, he needs to go coach. If he could be the head coach somewhere, he would be like coach on the Jaguars or the Dolphins somewhere. The warm SEC type atmosphere. You're playing in a hot summer, fall weather type. You're not playing. I don't think Mullen would thrive well playing in old Chicago and coaching up there. I don't think he just would thrive there. I don't think that's his vibe. That's not him.
I don't think that all that matters. If you're a good coach, you're a good coach. I see your point, but I don't think that matters. I just thought it was interesting that Dan Orlovsky brought it up. Go ahead.
You got anything?
I would ask him, you say if you're a good coach, you're a good coach. So is Urban a good coach, or is he part of a bad team?
I think he's never coached in the NFL, so I don't know. It's too early to tell on early. It's hard to judge a coach after one season.
A lot of coaches that have been fired after one season.
Yeah.
Steve Wilson got fired.
Yeah.
Coach before.
But this is just my personal opinion. It's hard for me to judge. Let me take unless if you're a disaster, where something you're in over your head, that's different. But most coaches, it's hard to judge them after just one season.
It is.
You still would put the jury. The jury's not all out on him, even though they're 0-9. It's still not out on him. Don't you coaches that have bad, David Culley, Campbell. So you're saying those aren't bad coaches if we haven't seen a full body of work.
they just have bad teams. The Lions are playing pretty hard earlier this season. They're not they're probably the least talented team. Same thing with the Texans. So, I mean, would you fire them after 1 year? Based on what you're saying?
If you go 0-6, if the Dan Campbell goes 0-16-1 and they don't win a game, would you have him back as the head coach?
Yes. He signed a 6-year deal. So they didn't just give him that because they wanted to win right away. They knew this was going to be a process. And so you got to at least give him 2-3 years on that deal. You can't just fire a unless it's like an absolute disaster. I'm not judging you just by wins and losses. I'm judging you like it's just everybody doesn't. It's just a disaster. You're not like getting along with people, and it's just where they have no choice. Like Freddie Kitchens, they had no choice but to fire when he was coaching. But you see what I'm talking about, DB?
Yeah, I see, man. But my thing is with Matt Nagy is that, and I wrote about this in the offseason when they drafted Fields. Was the true intention of drafting this guy? You know, is you drafting for somebody else to coach, or you drafting him so Nagy can work with him? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think they needed a quarterback, number one. So that's the.
Did they need a quarterback? Or they could have kept the one they already had, and with the defense. Because now, this is what I don't like about the whole draft for QB, have a bridge guy in there, is that a lot of guys in their prime years right now with the Bears on defense. And now you got a rookie QB and you're wasting it. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, the Khalil Mack trade looks like a bad deal now. You know, he's out for the year if I'm not mistaken. Khalil Mack trade looks like a bad deal. Matt Nagy was brought in because of his expertise on offense, more preferably the Kansas City Chiefs system. Try to bring it to Chicago, and it just haven't been successful. You know, they got some good pieces there, but for me, just based on what I see, the pieces don't fit what he wants to do, in my opinion. The things he wants to do in offense, he don't have the right personnel for it, in my opinion. Outside of Allen Robinson and Tariq Cohen, you're just throwing stuff together, in my opinion. But he shouldn't be fired. I don't think he should be given. I think he should be given another year, man, because you got a rookie quarterback in there. Everybody can't do what Mac Jones did in New England with. You just blessed with talent on defense, good pieces on offense, and everything is clicking for you. You got the greatest coach in the game, for guidance. So I think you should be given another year, and possibly giving up play calling.
But the thing is, he did that last season. Then this season he started with it. Then he gave it back again.
You can't do that, man.
Time for him to get, in my opinion. And if you want to, but let me ask you this: if let's say that for some crazy reason they kept Pace, kept Nagy, do you keep Pace, or do you get a new GM?
You get a new GM, man. I think they need a new
but
GM.
That guy is gonna want his own coach, and so it's almost it's almost like you may not find him now, but it's inevitable. It's kind of like the Miami situation with Manny Diaz. They're going to get a new AD. He has no ties to Manny Diaz, and so if Manny Diaz isn't getting results, he'll get rid of him quickly because it's not his guy. And so I think unless if you get Pace to pick the GM, but I don't think he deserves that much power. I just don't see how you keep him.
Stingley.
Keep Nagy. I keep on getting them confused. Nagy. I don't see how you keep Nagy if you don't let him pick his own GM.
I personally think that I agree. I agree, like in terms of like keeping. I think Nagy should. I agree with you. I think they've had a lot of injuries. Like you see, they really haven't had Tariq Cohen. They lost Khalil Mack for the season. I do think that he should stay. But at the same time, I do think this is going to be relief. And while he's had a lot of injuries, the team's had a lot of injuries and a lot of young players, I do think that it's time that they produce. I think that I think Pace does need to go. They missed on a lot of positions, including quarterback. The Anthony Pillen pick, I mean, heck, be disrespectful, and he ended up, it didn't work like either. He ended up being a bust at the end. He got maybe 2 good seasons out of them, but he ended up being a bust. They missed on a lot of players. Some of the defense really good, and DB they're wasting their prime years on defense with average quarterback play. And I think that is because they missed on Trubisky, they missed on Watson to get Trubisky and all that. And personally, I think that the Bears are in a position right now to where it's like a crossroads for their franchise. Because you either have they have to figure this out. Field needs to be that guy for them, or their franchise is going to go bottom. Like, it's going to go back to being bad in the cellar. They're normally always like mediocre or at least try to compete. But I think this is right now they're a crossroads for the franchise. You're going to go good, you're going to go bad. And there's going to be big decisions for them to make it over the summer. Do you keep Nagy? Do you keep Pace? Personally, I agree with Body should cut. I think Pace should go, but I disagree, and I think Nagy should stay. But I think he has a good offensive mind. He never had a losing season in Chicago. Actually, you keep that in mind. Never. The worst record he's ever had is 8-8. He made the playoffs last year at 8-8. And so I think there are some factors that play in his favor and him staying. And then this year might be his first losing season, but they're normally not losers on him.
Yeah.
Really interesting to see. Let me ask you this: if they lose to the Lions, you still want to keep him? They lose to the Lions this week. You still want to keep him after all you said about the Lions?
I mean, they playing Tim Boyle, so I hope that if Goff starts or Boyle starting.
I think there's a chance Goff is back. There's a really good chance Goff is back.
They lose to Boyle, yeah. He they might change my whole perception, but Goff, I mean, Brian, I wouldn't let one game change someone's fate. Is it fair to him?
Wait, are you asking me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm judging by body of work. I agree. Usually, one game shouldn't. It's the body of work, but the last time the game was played in Thanksgiving, ironically, it was with the Lions. They ended up such a disaster. They had no choice to get rid of their GM and the coach. And so, as long as they're competitive, I think I guess you. But I think if you lose to the Lions, this team is so bad. It should be the final straw. Let's put it that way. But because Justin Fields, he may not. I'm not sure if he's ready to be that guy to take them. But he's shown some signs, and if you get the right coach there, the right coordinator in there, I think he can at least get them in the playoff conversation. And so all you need to do is at least make the playoffs. This defense is pretty good. They have some weapons on offense. If you can get the Bears to the play, I think they can make the playoffs.
So
it won't be this year.
Would a new coach want their own guy though? They want QB?
I think the coach would understand. Fields is the guy. Fields is the guy.
Okay. All right. Moving right along. I want to segue into the actual firing that occurred with Giants offensive coordinator Jason Garrett, the clapper. Man, the Giants, man, that's a very undisciplined team, sloppy team, man. Very, that team has blown so many losses, so many wins this year. We could have won a whole lot of games this year if they made the right move, the right decisions, be disciplined, pay attention in games. But they couldn't do that, and this is what happened. And I think I listened to the presser with Joe Judge, and he was talking about a change was coming, and I'm assuming that was that change today. That was the firing of Jason Garrett as the offensive coordinator. So I want to ask y'all this. I want to ask y'all thoughts on it as well. But what do you think about the Giants hiring Dan Mullen to be the OC and work with Daniel Jones? Or you
Like
think
right
it's
now,
next
or
year,
in the,
going to off season? Or you think it's the end of Judge and Gettleman?
I think it's the beginning. And Jones, all three of them, I think they should all go. But, I mean, if you want to keep someone, I guess you can maybe give Judge one more year. You can say one thing he's had is a good defense. The only question is really the quarterback. Their defense is one of the best in the NFL. Their problem is the quarterback and their offense. I mean, Daniel, if you don't think he's not the guy, then I don't know what you've been watching. He's a turnover machine, and I hate to say this about him. He showed some flashes early, and still, he's in my opinion, high-level backup, low-end starter. That's my opinion of Jones.
You think he's a backup?
So what?
You think he's a backup?
A bad what?
Do you think he's a backup?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think he's a high. Yeah, like I said, he's probably best to be a backup because I just don't. I think he can look if you're on a bad team and rebuild it, and he's like, let's say for example, I was thinking of this area. The Giants send Daniel Jones to Seattle, and the Seahawks the Giants get Russell Wilson. Then that would be a nice piece for the Seahawks to work with.
No, I wouldn't.
You don't think so?
Not with Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll may be gone. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But, I don't think Daniel Jones is the guy. The offense is bad, and they need to get a veteran quarterback because his defense is kind of like the Bears, but except the young quarterback, Justin Fields, much better, in my opinion, than Daniel Jones. But they kind of remind me of, guess who they remind me of in a weird-ass way?
Where? Who?
They won a Super Bowl recently.
The Chiefs?
No, the Buccaneers. They have the defense. They just need their quarterback away. And I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl if they get Russell Wilson. That's not what I'm saying. They still got maybe to have pieces on offense and figure it out. But I believe if they at least have a really good quarterback, they can make the playoffs.
What you think, Lee?
I think we lost him.
You lost him? I don't know, man. Gettleman might be. I think Gettleman's out, man. Daniel Jones. The dude is a sloppy player, man. The team is sloppy though, man. They do a lot of things, unnecessary things that cause them to lose games. Like the game against the Chiefs, they pretty much gave that one away on Monday night. They gave that one away. Yeah, they gave that one away. They did couple good things. Did some good things against.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, man. They did some good things against Tampa yesterday, but they messed that up. So I think Judge might be out, man. Judge and Gettleman will probably be gone, man. What you think, bro, Lee?
I disagree with everything Brian Biden had to say about you say he's a turnover machine. You say he's a turnover machine. He's actually at the lowest amount he's ever had in a season. You say you look at the fact that he's never had anyone consistent player that's been in terms of weapons wise ever be healthy. He's an off-edge tight end with an off-edge receiver, with an off-edge running back. His best players are hurt around him. He's often the only been healthy guy that's offensively playing. The line is the offensive line for years has been porous. You can also say he hasn't performed. You can say that he doesn't elevate talent. How can you say he's a bad player when he's only had most of the talent that he's had around him to be off edge? And he never had Barkley. Well, one season of healthy Barkley. Was he drafted? I think he drafted 19, right? Yeah. He had one season of healthy Barkley. And to take two. He's had Evan Ingram, who's been very, very inconsistent in and out the line. Keep going in and out.
In and out.
And I'm telling this guy, he got to get better Wi-Fi, man.
Here we go, man. Yeah, he got points, man. His personnel ain't healthy, man. Evan Ingram is a very inconsistent tight end. Has potential, but can never stay healthy. What's his name? Sterling Shepard out of Oklahoma. He's good, but he's not healthy. Rashawn Slaton, he's pretty good. Kenny Galladay has been a bust so far. A waste of money. But I don't know, man. He's back.
Yeah, it ain't just being Daniel Jones thing. It's just bad. Like, you have to look at the elements around somebody. Like, it would be hard to look good playing quarterback for that Giants team. Anybody. I don't care. Y'all say Russell Wilson would be want to go there. He might just be a Seattle 2.0 if he goes there, because they don't have great weapons there. They have some pieces to work with, but I just feel like you blame Daniel Jones for the problems. It's not. First of all, he's having one of the best seasons of his career. Actually, believe it or not, he's getting better. I mean, I know you may not see it in the wins and losses, but he's getting better. He's actually kept them in a few games, and he showed some things, like in that Chiefs game. He showed me a lot, like, because I didn't think he would go toe for toe with Mahomes, like, yeah, and he kept them in there. So I feel like it's positive. Build them in, and judge will be right. I just put them.
All right. Stay right.
Ryan Tannehill. So many people are calling him a bust. They called him a bust in Miami. He didn't have the right. It turns out he was on the wrong team. So what if Daniel Jones on the wrong team?
Well, you kind of are making my point for me that maybe it's time to move on from him and get a veteran in there. But you're saying, like, if you look at a lot of those games, you're telling me that if you don't get a veteran, like, you're telling me Russell Wilson wouldn't make a difference on this team. And this defense is much better than Seattle's. Keep that in mind. Yeah, and so I think this team needs a better quarterback. Got to go the path of the Buccaneers. I think that's what they should do, get a veteran quarterback and take it from there. Because this defense is too good to be wasted by just inept offense. And, I mean, maybe give Joe Judge another year, but again, it kind of is like if you bring in a GM, he's going to want his own guy, so you might as well just start out. Is it fair to judge? Maybe not. But they just haven't gotten the results.
All right. Okay. That's fair, but at least Gettleman has to go, man. I think Gettleman has to go.
No doubt about that.
Gettleman has to go. All right, moving right along.
No doubt.
Our next topic, we're gonna talk about this LeBron James situation with Isaiah Stewart. I haven't heard that guy. I haven't heard that guy until Sunday, man. Man, that was crazy, man. I was making a joke with my sister. I was telling her maybe this dude should play in the NFL. The way he was moving in that crowd, man, maybe think he was could be a edge rusher or something. Man. He was just like them moves, them cuts he was making. Like, man, should he be playing NFL or something? The Lions ain't taking a look. But man, bro, y'all think this LeBron got a fair suspension?
Let me take this one first. I think let's put it. I think if Stewart doesn't lose his mind, I don't think anybody gets suspended. I think maybe LeBron gets suspended, but I don't think anybody gets suspended. So I just think they both get fined. But because Stewart lost his mind, I personally think he should have got a bigger suspension. And it's going to be interesting because the Lakers and Pistons play Sunday in Detroit. So it'll be interesting how the whole dynamic of that goes down. But that's one of the reasons I thought it should have been longer. But also, they needed to send a message. I understand he was seeing red, lost his cool, taking his own blood. But you just cannot have that. That could have really ended ugly. Ironically, it was in Detroit where the Mouse and the Palace happened. But some people were comparing the two. Lazy, responsible, not even close, because no fans were involved. It wasn't that bad, but it could be worse than what it was. So I think if anything, Stewart should have gotten more games. But I think the league's hands were tied. They had really no choice but to suspend LeBron, because if you did suspend LeBron, then everybody will be saying just giving him special treatment because he's a star. So they really had no choice but to just give him one game. He'll be back tomorrow night. Lakers will need him after losing to the Knicks. But I think the punishments were right. I mean, I tried a few games, but I would have given him more.
Wrong you are again. I don't know what to say. I think both guys should have gotten an equal amount of games. You give Stewart his games, you give LeBron his game. Look, without LeBron, there's no Stewart reaction. Keep that in mind. We live in a society where we get the people who react, but we never get the people who cause the reaction.
Hold on. Can I just say they suspended him a game? They threw him out. What are you talking about? They legit gave him a flagrant 2. They did.
I'll let you go first.
Go ahead. That's what I'm going to say, but that don't make any sense. They did catch him. They did give him punishment. So when he got
Go ahead.
They didn't punish.
Go ahead, man.
Like I was saying, LeBron James, from what I saw, I think the elbow was intentional. Because when he threw the elbow, he looked at him dead square in the face. It wasn't like an elbow to where he threw it and then he looked like, oh my gosh, I did this. For me, it looked vicious, in my opinion. And I'm a LeBron guy, but I'm just going to call it how I see it. I felt like the elbow was malicious in intent. In the phase of that guy, Isaiah Stewart, you cannot sit there and tell me that you all would not have had a similar reaction in terms of the being outraged and upset. Now, how he handled it was not right, but being upset and you want to give it's like somebody in baseball when guys get hit by 100-mile-an-hour fastballs and they charge them out. Somebody throwing a sharp elbow as hard, and you know LeBron James is 260 pounds, so that's muscle going all into your face about with full line that he shouldn't be upset. Now, how he went about it trying to charge LeBron is unnecessary. It's unnecessary, and he shouldn't get punishment for that. But we live in a society too much where we punish people for reacting to things when we should give people who cause the reactions. That's all I have to say.
Anything else, Brian?
The only thing I'll say, did he mean to elbow him face down? Was he trying to get him off of him yet? And one other thing I'll say with this whole, if you look, this thing happens all the time. For the standpoint, guys trying to get off. There's videos that Dwight Howard does it all the time. He may not elbow anybody in the face, but guys jockey for position all the time. There's this video with Isaiah Stewart and Blake Griffin. It's legit the same thing. The difference is he didn't get nailed in the face, but this happens. He just overreacted. And again, I think he should have been suspended more because you got to send him. You got to. And look, the main reason why I think he should have, two main reasons. One, the Lakers and the Pistons play. I'm not saying he's going to go crazy like that, but I would have rather just not taken the risk of that. That's just me. And then number two, again, it's not good for the league. I get it. I understand. If I would have got an elbow in the face, I would have been mad. But I would have. Think about it. If you saw how many people were trying to restrain him, they just couldn't do it. Or they did, but it was insane. The guy just was going crazy. And he even tried to, at the end, he tried to go around the tunnel, and luckily the guy was cool. So, he needed more, in my opinion, but again, I'm assuming they gave him one really, really hard lecture. So, we'll see what happens, but I'm glad it's over with and we can move on. But, I mean, I think he's just a young kid. He just needs to calm down. And he made the right decision not going at LeBron. Let's just put it that way. For long-term effects. In the standpoint of not swinging at him, that would have been the end of his career, if you know what I mean. So he made the right decision not doing that.
So, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Good. You got it. Go ahead.
I personally feel that it's just I can't be too mad at Stewart because, like I said, Ben's reacting like he's a grown man. I can't. If he had punched LeBron James, I wouldn't say it would be the end of his career. Because first of all, if this was LeBron James 2009, then okay, he might have a point because this is the face of the league. LeBron is way out. Yeah, he's really respected OGs of the game, but at the same time, being who somebody is doesn't stop someone from being a grown man. People, when you get in a situation like that, people don't give a bleep who you are. This all Isaiah Stewart knew. Grown man elbowed him in the face, caused him to have blood coming from his face. He don't give a, you know what, it's LeBron James. So at that point, you got to throw name and say he's defending himself. That's what he felt like he was doing. So I personally feel that guys should have got the same suspension. But I don't think it's fair that LeBron, but they should have got both 3 games because LeBron caused it and Stewart reacted. 3 games should have been. I think 3 games would have been suspended for those guys. And they throwing LeBron a little 1 game. We got our voice in earlier today, but that little 1 game isn't gonna do anything. And really, if you want to make a really, Stewart's really good. Stewart's actually an up and coming young player. He made our rookie team last year. He's actually an up and coming player. So this might throw him off his little rhythm. Hopefully he bounces back from this and he gets better.
Yeah. When I say like end him, I don't mean like LeBron will get in the fight. But the Lakers, I bet you all the Lakers would have went out to do it. And look, I'm not saying like when I say and he would have still been a solid NBA player. But it's just if you're gonna act tough, then do it like when he was up chest to chest with him, then come do something. But if you ain't gonna do that, like you gotta get out of after that, then I don't believe in fake toughness. That's just my personal opinion. And so it wasn't an issue until he started chasing his blood, which is fine. But don't try to act all tough after that. But it'll be interesting to see how this. I mean, like guys, they get into it all the time. But like someone said, most of these guys they really aren't trying to fight. But they will if they need to.
Yeah, you're right, man. This is like the first like NBA fight I've seen in years that guys actually really want to fight. Where you really guys really throwing hands because in NBA fights, man, it's just like they're feeling the land punches. And I felt like the suspension was a little too light, man, for both players, man. This is like a slap on the wrist in my opinion. Based on the way he acted, I thought he was gonna get more games than that, but they didn't. So it is what it is, man. LeBron get his 1 game, Zed gets 2. I'm like, wow. But it's all good though. But anyways, man, we move on to our main subject here today, tonight. And first one is gonna be that the Ohio State Michigan game. The game finally means something again. It's been a long time since that game had some type of national championship effect to it. It's been, I would say, I'm showing my age here, but it's been like since the 2000s, man. It's the 90s. This game actually means something, and we're just gonna get it out of the way tonight. What y'all think about this game as far as predictions and who you think is gonna win this game? But as for what I've seen, man, with Ohio State, man, I finally I've been watching a couple of their games, but this game against Michigan State, man, it just really blew me away, man. I was really impressed with their offense, man. There's NFL talent all over. Kind of remind me of the Alabama team from last year, where it was just NFL guys on both sides of the football. Those receivers are dangerous, man. Chris Olive, I think it's Garrett Harrison, and the other guy, Smith Abadja or something like that. Smith, you got the 2 last name?
I think Jigba.
Yeah, Jigba, man, that's
and Garrett Wilson.
yeah, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olive, man, that's just Olave, man, it's just those guys are dangerous, man. NWOs, man, just nasty wideouts. I think it's gonna be a really good football game, man. I don't know who I'm gonna pick, man, because Michigan ain't no punk either. Michigan is playing its best football in a long time. And I've been watching Michigan football for years, man, on ABC at the time. Yeah, ABC. And it's good, man. It's good that this rivalry means something again, man. Compared to USC and UCLA, the game that happened last Saturday, and nobody even cared. Nobody knew, you know? So, I just want to get y'all thoughts on that game. Any predictions?
You took the last one first. I'll take this one first.
Yeah, I want to see what you're going to say.
It's going to be a battle of, really, in my opinion, can that Michigan State defense take advantage of any type of imperfection from the Ohio State offense? Because it looks like the offense, to me, just perfect. Like, I thought Michigan State would put up a good fight, but I knew, my friend was telling me, he knew from the first, like, that first touchdown that Michigan State was going to get blown away. And I actually put a little cheese on Michigan State the way I was very disappointed, because I feel like Michigan State could keep with the run game, could keep scouting them off the field. But it turns out Kenny Walker proved to be ineffective. Defense was phenomenal for OSU. But going really to this week, I feel like Michigan State, the question is, can Michigan State's corners match up with Ohio State receivers? I feel like the corners for Michigan State weren't really physical enough, but I feel like they're going to get those. They'll probably be the best corner defensive backfield that they face all year. And so I'm taking advantage of any type of openings that they get for as mid as Ohio State's played all year. The ball gets the defense. But the question would be, can Michigan State make it a claim to be Ohio State offensive? Because I feel like at times that their defense is stagnant. I feel like when they get off rhythm, because they have new substitutes, McCaffrey and McNamara, they sub in rotate light. The question is, can they find a rhythm? Because I feel that there are times that they're in the game, they're interchangeable, that they don't have rhythm, and they get out of rhythm when they'll be driving down the field with one guy and they just go touchdown, then they put the other guy in. So it's like, the question is, can they find a rhythm against Ohio State? I think one of those guys is going to have to see his position during the game. They're going to have to go with one guy. I think Ohio State defense is going to say, you know what, we're going to have to make it, because that will kind of make them hard to prepare for, because they can kind of almost run two different types of offenses with two different types of quarterbacks, almost, in a way. So I think they have to. Ohio State's defense is going to have to show up and limit Michigan's ground game and make them a passing team, because that's not what they are. But it's going to be a matter of, can both defenses play well against the other offense, and really can Ohio State receivers get open against this great defensive backfield from Michigan State. Michigan's going to be exciting.
Yeah, this game should be good. The three keys for Michigan, in my opinion, are this. You got to be able to run the football. You got to win the time of possession. And that pass rush, they, in my opinion, have the two best defensive ends in the country. And I believe O'Bara and Hutchinson, those guys are really legit. They got to cause havoc. And if they do those three things, I like their chance. Because you ain't going to outscore Ohio State, in my opinion. You're just not going to do that. They're just too talented offensively. So the only way you can beat them is limiting their position, control the clock, and then when you got the ball, you got to score a lot of the times, because you're going to give up some points. But Jim Harbaugh, all the changes he made to his staff, everything he's done is basically for this game. So that month. And if you don't beat them now, then I don't think you'll ever beat them. This is his, in my opinion, final chance, really great chance, because the Ohio State's just getting back done is basically for this game. And what?
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know. I thought I heard myself echo, and I was like, "What's going on?" But yeah. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. What's going on? What's going on?
Good now?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't. Maybe it was from him. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So I think Michigan, again, those three things that I mentioned. You got to run the ball. You got to win the time possession, and then when you have the ball in offense, you got to work at a high percentage, and that pass rush they got that one. Michigan secondary is pretty solid. They're actually one of the top in the nation. But again, they're playing the best receivers you're gonna play all year, and so even though your secondary is good, you got to give them help by getting to the quarterback. And if they do that, I think.
Yeah, and another thing, man, whoever's the quarterback in the game, the quarterback for Michigan is gonna be. They can't turn the football over too, man. They're just if you give them a short field, they're gonna put up points, man. Plain and simple. You do that. You put these guys. You put your defense in the bind when you do that, and that you can't afford to do that. Also, Ohio State's running game is very underrated. They have a good running back as well. We got to take away that as well in this game. And Stroud, man, is dangerous, man. That guy is playing a lot better compared to the beginning of the season. I think he's in the Heisman conversation, and I think they're already start to put his name in for the next 2023 draft as the top pick. So it's going to be interesting, man. I'm leaning heavily towards Ohio State to win, but you never know with Michigan. It's that type of year where we've seen a lot of unusual things happen in football, college and pro, and I won't be surprised if they get the victory. Michigan wins, because if they win, I think they will get number 4. I think Notre Dame is like right on the doorstep once again to do something. So we'll see, man. We'll see how everything is going to play out. But I'm leaning Ohio State to win this game, man. But it's going to be interesting because this is Jim Harbaugh's best chance to beat him right now. Got him at home. Made changes to his coaching staff. Team is weathered the storm throughout the season. He had the close loss against Michigan State. Probably could have won that game, but everything is working out fine for you. All you gotta do is beat Ohio State, get yourself in the Big Ten championship game, and go from there. Anything else?
You said all you got to do is beat Ohio State. That's not you obviously not. That's not going to happen. But same like you said, it's just gonna come down. You cannot turn the field. Michigan State had 3 turnovers in the first half. All 3 of them were touchdowns in that first half. You against Ohio State last week. You think Ohio State a short field? They're gonna score touchdowns. And that's one thing I like about Ohio State. I don't like a lot of offenses in the college football. When you make mistakes, they take minutes. They're not going to just go to score field goals. They're going to score touchdowns. And when you have a quarterback like C.J. Stroud who can push the ball into the end zone, by the way, I just want to make a little note. It's crazy at that time, number 1 quarterback, what's his name? Quinn Ewers? You know what it is?
Yeah.
He signed him, y'all. It's not possible. He might never see the field like terms of playing for
I'm not so sure about that. He's going to maybe wait longer than people thought. But there's also some rumors he may leave. He may go back to one of these Texas schools. That's a rumor that's floating out there.
Yeah, I'm talking about he may never. If Stroud keeps playing like this, they got him with they gave Quinn, like they basically at the beginning of the season was like if Stroud doesn't flounders, Quinn's right there. But he never floundered. Stroud's played phenomenal, played flawless football pretty much this season. So he had a few hiccups in that Oregon game, but he's played football, and I just think he's going to be the guy that carries his team to victory. I think Ohio State does go into Michigan, and they close.
Damn. Bro, what?
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm gonna say, I think as much as I like Stroud, he's playing well. If Bryce Young beats Georgia, he wins the Heisman, in my opinion.
You think he wins the Heisman?
If he beats Georgia.
So, let me ask you this then. So if Georgia beats Alabama, does this open up an opportunity for Notre Dame to get in?
Maybe. It opens this opportunity for Oklahoma State or Oklahoma.
But we had Notre Dame like 3 years in a row, I think.
Not just that, but I feel like the one thing hurting Notre Dame is they don't have that extra game, that extra data point. And so in order to be a non-conference, to be a non-conference champ, you have to be, and make it up, you have to be unequivocally better. And maybe you can say that, but I'm not so sure you can say that. If you look at, especially if Oklahoma State is a team, they'll have a better resume than Notre Dame. And I
Notre
think
Dame bring numbers though.
Yeah, but who have they played in Cincinnati?
But they bring numbers, man. They bring numbers.
They beat Purdue. I know, but they beat Purdue, and they beat those. Their best two wins are Purdue and Wisconsin.
But they beat who's on the schedule. You beat the teams on your schedule.
I don't know. They have the committee has them as 6, so you may be right. But I feel like that data point is going to be the thing that, like, I don't know if you heard what I said earlier, but if I was Notre Dame, what I would do is play a 13th game, get the highest ranked team and play that final week, conference championship weekend, and just add that to my resume. That would help them tremendously. Until we believe the playoff would fit, but that's what I would do every year. So then they can't say you didn't play that 13th game. And even though it wouldn't be a conference championship, at least you add a really quality opponent to your resume, assuming you beat them. So that's what I would do.
I actually see some relevancy on what I think should happen for doing Notre Dame is BYU and Notre Dame play. They should be the team that they play. Like BYU, the Federal Independent, they're normally up there in the top discussion, like in terms of top rankings. Play Purdue, play BYU every year. Like, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game. It's two independent. You're helping each other out, and you don't have to go find the you can't because even if they go play the highest rank. Like a conference championship, you still have to run. They're still gonna say, "Well, you didn't play a conference. You didn't beat a conference champion. You can't. They can't say that if you're not playing a team that's not in a conference. So they're still gonna have it's gonna be nitpicky and all that. But guys, this is. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, that's true. But let's, for example, they played Ole Miss. That's just one team, one of the top 10 teams in the nation. Let's just use it as an example. That would be a good win to add to your resume. And so I'm just saying, I'm not saying, again, they will still not have that conference championship, so that'll still be against them. But at least you can say they played the same amount of games as everybody else, and they added a really quality opponent at the end. I think in my opinion, it can only help you. It can't hurt you. I mean, you can maybe lose the game, but it can only help you. That's the way I look at it.
So, do you think Ohio State matches up with Georgia?
I think they do.
That's a good game, man. That's a good game.
They got the quarterback. And the one thing, again, is kind of like a little bit, Tennessee really, they had their opportunities, but they turned the ball over too much. And I just don't think they're ready for the moment. In my opinion, the key to beating a team like Georgia, you got to get an offense that's going to force them to score. Because they've yet to really face an offense that's forced them to have to score points. So that's why that Bama game can be tested. They have to make an offense that's going to be like, you can't just beat us with your defense. We're going to get points on you. Now you got to score on us. And if you find a team like that, I think that's where Georgia could be beat. Because as good as Georgia defense is, they have some. They're not invisible. They can be beat. Georgia's defense can have a rough day. And if that happens, the offense has to be able to put up points. Like the days of winning games just based on your defense, I know they've been doing it against elite teams. I don't see it happening because the offenses are just so dynamic now in today's era. So you got to be able to score points.
So, do you, damn. Are they gonna bring back JT Daniels, or is just gonna be they're just gonna roll with Stetson Bennett? Cause I don't know if
you ride the hot hand at this point.
Man, you need a quarterback that could get that ball out there, man. Against one of these teams, man.
Yeah, and not only the thing with Stetson Bennett is not only he's not as talented as JT Daniels, but two things he does well. He's a really cerebral quarterback. But he also can run, and that's one. Not saying JT Daniels, but JT Daniels can't run like Stetson Bennett. And I think that ability allows this Georgia offense to go on another level. And I think it's the right decision to stick with him. He hasn't played poorly enough where you have to maybe consider him. But it kind of reminds me, even though it's not exactly the same situation, it kind of reminds me of like Alabama when they had Jalen Hurts and Tua. And if it comes to a point, if you need like a hot hand or someone that you feel like can maybe give you a spark, you have JT Daniels. But I go with Stetson Bennett. I think he's just the better quarterback right now. And not only the most important thing, the team is behind him. And I just think he gets you where he has a better chance to get you where you want to get. In my opinion, do I think Stetson Bennett's good enough to win a natty? I don't. But as long as the defense plays well and he just needs to be a game manager, I think he can do that. So.
Yeah, maybe, man. I don't know. I think the SEC championship game is next week. Probably do a preview story on it, share my thoughts on it, who wins that game, because I just think that's playoffs before the playoffs, in my opinion. And that's even with the Ohio State Michigan game, that's pretty much an elimination game. So that's playoff game within the playoff game. So, I'm not saying I meant to say that, but a playoff game before a playoff game. So we have two of them back to back. I think with Cincinnati's pretty much, I think all they have to do is just win out, and they're pretty much good to go. Oregon, they blow their chance like we thought they was gonna do. I just, with the thing about the Pac-12 is that it's a P5 school, but nobody can take advantage of how weak the conference is. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how everything's gonna play out. But moving right along, our next topic is the NFL and the our Super Bowl contenders. 11 weeks into the season now is our updated ones. Just do some takeaways on the season so far, and for the midway point is that the season, man, is it's been a weird season, man. Just a lot of unusual stuff is just going down lately in the NFL as far as the games being played. You have Dallas in 1 week losing to the Denver Broncos. You got Tampa going on the road getting beat by the Washington football team. You got Arizona Cardinals beating teams with a backup QB, and they don't have the best player on DeAndre Hopkins. Then you flip-flop the next week, and you got San Francisco beating the crap out of the Rams on Monday Night Football with their style, with their system that's been pretty good, in my opinion, over the years. And they've gotten hot. So, with that being said, I would like to know y'all's Super Bowl contenders right now. Going right now. I'm gonna go with our updated Super Bowl contenders. So right now I'm gonna go with NFC. I believe I'm gonna go with, I think Arizona could get to the Super Bowl. I like Dallas. I like Tampa. And Green Bay as well. Their defense is pretty good. The Rams, I'm not so sure of right now. I don't know, but we'll see. But in the AFC, I really like the New England Patriots. I wouldn't be surprised if they get to the Super Bowl with Mac Jones as a quarterback. Defense has been playing pretty good. It's like a typical New England Patriots defense that's really good. Not too many flashy names on it, but it makes big plays. They're always in the right spot to make plays. Very disciplined, very detailed, and they're a team that can make a run. I don't think they need to have home field advantage to get to the Super Bowl. I also like the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts, they're playing pretty good. Running game is the best in the league right now, with Jonathan Taylor, who's clearly, I will say in the front runner to be the MVP, the league MVP right now, well, based on his production, just dominating the games. Team is 5-5 right now. They're on the outside looking into the playoffs, but they could get in. I think that one of those teams will fall out and they'll get in. I like a little skeptical on Tennessee, and that's just I see how limited they are right now without Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill was very sloppy with the football this past week. 4 turnovers, just completely out of character from that team. Lost to Houston, but we'll see. If Henry's out and they still cannot, run the football successfully, I think they're going home early. And I like Baltimore. Lamar Jackson. I'm not counting out Lamar Jackson, despite what I've seen with the team so far. Hopefully, they can get the offensive line figured out, because that's the issue right now with the Ravens. And those losses against Miami and the Bengals, they got after Lamar in those games. They really did. I'm not saying that they figured him out or anything like that, but they didn't figure out how. For the most part, they figured out how to rattle him so far with those with coming off the edge against him, with facing him. But I would like to turn this over to y'all and just figuring out, what are y'all's Super Bowl contenders right now, 11 weeks into the season.
I'll go real quickly. I agree with most of your list, probably all of it. I don't know, did you say the Chiefs?
I did. Oh man, yeah, I forgot about the Chiefs, man. Yeah, I like them as well, man.
Yeah, because of the two where it's Patrick Mahomes. As long as he's there, I think you got a shot. I think they're starting to get back in the team. I don't think they'll be that dominant team they were, but they just, as long as you have Patrick Mahomes and their defense is actually playing much better now, I think that they got a shot. Did you mention the Cardinals?
Yes, I did.
Did you mention the Buccaneers?
Yeah.
The Cowboys?
Yeah, the Buccaneers, Cowboys, Packers.
Rams?
Not the Rams. I don't know, man.
I think they're
Stafford might turn back the clock, man.
I think they're a contender because of Sean McVay, and I think he'll get that team. So I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. They got to figure out what to do when they face a really good defensive line, because the Titans and the 49ers, and basically they can't just let a team punk them, because that's what happened when they played the Titans and the 49ers. They just got punched in the mouth and they just couldn't respond. So they got to get more physical. But if they figure that out, I like the Rams as a contender. This year is really wide open. There are a lot of really good teams. But, yeah, I agree with most of your list.
Well, let's go from that NFC. Let's start in the NFC. I agree with a lot of your list, DB. Did you put those Dallas Cowboys in there?
Say what?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, they're in there.
All right. They're a Super Bowl contender. Really, I didn't like what I've seen 2 of the last 3 weeks from the DB. They couldn't move the ball. Like, it's a very horrific Chiefs defense. But give the Chiefs defense credit. We'll see their name. They'll be mentioned a little later, but their Chiefs defense played really good against Cowboys. But Hopefully, we can give them another loss this week. But anyway, back to the Super Bowl hunt. I think the Cowboys are Super Bowl hunts. The Green Bay Packers are the team that you were going to have to keep your name watching out for, too. They're always in up there. Aaron Rodgers. As long as you have Aaron Rodgers, they're in the Super Bowl hunt. Like, you have to. They deserve that much respect. DB, another team, the Minnesota Vikings, they Super Bowl contender. You wanna know why?
Why?
They're starting to pick now. You wanna know why? I was kind of sold. I kind of was like writing the Vikings off. But DB, if they put Kirk Cousins is having a great year, if you can put Kirk Cousins led team with the great defense and they play consistently in and day out, I think this team can compete with a Falcons, with a Rams. I think they can compete. Like DB, you always talk about they have the pieces, they have the 10 players. I don't see why they can't be a Super Bowl contender with Dalvin Cook, with Thielen, with Jefferson, with Kirk, with all those guys, Harrison Smith making plays, barring them. They're a Super Bowl contender in my opinion. I think they just need to be more consistent and show it every week. But they can make a run. My third team, I'm just going to, since I spent so long with the Vikings, I'll just go to my third and final team in the NFC. I'm going to go with, really, I think the Rams are Super Bowl contender. I still think after those 2 losses, they just really trying to put everything together. They keep in mind Von Miller's first 2 games, they really haven't been consistent. I think they wavered from their McVay-ish ways now. They kind of wavered, but I don't ever count a team with Sean McVay as the coach out. So now moved on to the AFC. Brian Botta, your Tennessee Titans make the dang cut. Okay, they're still a Super Bowl contender. You don't have much of a consistent run game anymore because your crappy backups can't get the job done. But hey, you're still Ryan Tannehill. I just think you had a bad week. It wasn't. I don't think this is the Titans. They're really bad. I just had a bad week, and I think that they can bounce back and get it moving. You don't have to establish a run game, and Tannehill not turn the ball. Tannehill doesn't turn the ball over, so I wouldn't be worried if I were a fan. The Kansas City Chiefs are very much Super Bowl contenders. They're back. I just have to say it. They're back, and the league better watch out. Like they're a team that they can win anywhere. They don't need home field advantage either. They could go. I could see them going to Buffalo. If New England win. Heck, let's say New England wins the division of Buffalo. Let's just say the Chargers win the division or something like that. Let's just say that. I could see Buffalo or going to New England and winning. Like they can win anywhere. I really like that team. But the third team that I really like is the Patriots. DB1, I don't think you were a few weeks ago. You all may not remember. You said name my surprise teams that I really was surprised. I said the New England Patriots. I said about 2 or 3 weeks ago, on a couple of pods ago. I said the Patriots are the team to watch out for. They can make a run. Now they won. If I'm not mistaken, their last loss was that Cowboys lost a few, like 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, Cowboys lost. Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't lost since. And they dropped them to win. If I'm not mistaken, they dropped them to either 2-4 or 1-3, or something like that. But they ended up not having lost since. I think it was 2-4, but they have not lost since. The team is hitting its stride. Bill Belichick this is actually big for Belichick. I think he's winning because people have always said it was just Brady. Like this also helps his argument. Like I feel like people are now thinking that this is also Bill. Bill deserves some credit for that championships too because he's getting it done with a different guy. So I really think the Patriots, Chiefs, and those mother freaking Titans, those my AFC teams, y'all. That's the contenders.
Yeah, contenders. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, man, but New England's defense, man, they haven't give up. I think the last 3 games they only give up 14 points. They shut out Atlanta. They give up only 7 points to I think it was Cleveland. And the Jets, they give up 7 points. So altogether, like 14 points. And the Chiefs defense is playing a lot better, man. They didn't. They bleed up the Raiders. They beat up Dallas. The game prior to that against Green Bay, they didn't give up anything. So with Mahomes playing like that, Hopefully they could start running the football successfully. There'll be a problem, but it's a wide open NFL on both conferences. At one point it was. You remember the Bengals was the number 1 seed. Then it went to the Titans. I think now it's like New England's like a game out of home field advantage. That's crazy. But we'll see how everything's gonna play out, man. It should be a good race. We'll ask y'all, do y'all see any potential of any team going home? Any team that has home field advantage in the playoffs going home, like in the first round, like a one and done.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas?
As of right now, they play the Rams if the playoffs started today.
I see the Titans going home, bro. If y'all have Derrick Henry, if y'all get home field advantage, and Derrick Henry's not back by then, I can see somebody like New England or even the Bengals sending y'all to the house.
I see that too.
The Bengals, yeah. Even Chargers.
I think we're gonna get that bye. We got the easiest schedule left. Well, I knew we weren't gonna.
But y'all lose the teams y'all shouldn't though.
So
sometimes y'all lose the teams that y'all shouldn't lose to.
Yeah, I was gonna say we played for some reason. We played down to our competition, but when we played better teams, we play out. So even though we lost last week, I wouldn't be surprised if this week because that's just what we did. That's just what we did.
You gotta believe.
Teams that I can see losing really their first playoff game. Don't be surprised if a team sends the and I hate to say it, I just said they were Super Bowl contenders. What if a team sends the Chiefs home early? Because what if their defense gets to the point to where it doesn't hold up against a good team? Like, I'm sorry. Like, what if they get to the point to where, okay, you have Mahomes back just to see the defense start breaking again? And what if Mahomes breaks down again? Like, it would be an epic story.
Yeah.
They put it all together. They put it all together, DB. They bounce back from a bad start, 6-4 now. They get a home field playoff game, and they get bounced in the first. That would be an epic story just for the. It's like, then does it change how you look at Mahomes a little bit?
It's a possibility, man. It's possible, man, because I think next year the division gets harder. Because you might have Russell Wilson might come to the AFC West, maybe if he comes to Denver. It gets harder next year for them. But I don't know, man. I just think if Indianapolis gets in the playoffs or the Bengals, this would be a problem for somebody, man. The Bengals are Joe Burrow and Chase and the rest of those guys. That's an issue, man. And they can run the football. They can't run the football. They can run the football in that type of environment. It could be an issue for somebody, man. Like the Titans.
You taking the call seriously?
Yeah, I am taking them seriously, man. Bro, they're playing pretty good. They get hot right now, man. And like Carson Wentz is having a really good season, man, and nobody's talking about it. So I take them serious, man. All right. Well, anyways, man, moving right along. We talk about the Memphis Tigers men's basketball team starting off the season 5-0. The game I watched last Friday against it was at home against Western Kentucky. Starting to have a little flashbacks of what happened last year around this time when they played Western Kentucky. They had some issues, but I would say my biggest takeaways from that game is that I know they were having some turnover issues and all that, but my biggest takeaway is that Jalen Duran, man. Jalen Duran, rebound, I think he had, 16 boards if I'm not mistaken?
It's 19.
19 boards, 22 points. That's different from last year. They didn't have a guy like that can get those rebounds, score points, fight to keep the leads and all that. So I just think that's a big difference from last year. And I tweeted this as well. I put out a tweet out on this, is that last year I said last year around this time, Memphis would have give up the lead and couldn't get it back. But this year they didn't, and that's because Jalen Duran, he's on the team now. This guy has been a difference maker for this team right now, and I like what I see. But tomorrow they play Virginia Tech. I think it's the NIT Classic, if I'm not mistaken. Both teams are 5-0. So we get a chance to see a lot, figure out a lot of the team, of how they react to facing I would say, a tough opponent. Got a little bit of that against Western Kentucky, but they pulled through, and we'll see what challenges Virginia Tech could present to Memphis, because I haven't watched the Virginia Tech game yet, so I already don't know what they possess on offense right now. But I'd like to get y'all thoughts on how Memphis looks so far in the season with the regular 5-0.
I'll take this one. The Tigers, you've beaten who you need to beat. We need coming into the season that they should get through their first 4 games, and now we're gonna find out how good they are. They got to figure out this turnover issue. They got to figure out the rotation as soon as possible. But the number one thing I'm going to be looking in this game is pace. Both teams play 2 different styles. The Tigers are one of the top teams in pace, and the Hokies are one of the last teams in pace. But the Hokies have a better offensive efficiency. The Hokies are in the top 30. The Tigers are in the top 90 on offense, and so that's what I'm going to be looking at. The Tigers do have some length, so it'll be interesting how they're going to disrupt the Hokies when the Hokies are on offense. But the Hokies, they're not going to be rushed. I think they'll handle that press pretty well. And right now, I mean, I think the Tigers have a shot, but I would pick the Hokies to win. I just think they're a more complete team. They know who they are. But anybody can beat anybody. So I really want to see how the Tigers handle the environment. The first few minutes will be very critical for this young team. But I'm really excited to see. But again, if I had to bet money, I'm betting on the Hokies. I just trust Mike Young and his staff and his players over Penny Hardaway. But that is the Tigers. Yeah, I like the Hokies to win. But I hope I'm wrong.
He's gonna be wrong. I mean, he's gonna be wrong. But this is a Memphis team. They just cracked the top 10 for the first time all year. They're gonna come in this game with a motivated to prove why they're a top 10 team. And it's ironic because Memphis is also the top 3 in defense. Every defensive statistic you can think of, Memphis is either top 5, top 10, or top 3. I think they come in with a mean. You said about it. He does have great coach teams. Mike Young teams, ever since he came from, did he come from Wofford? Not Wofford.
Yeah.
He came from another school. Yeah, he came from Wofford. I watched Mike Young teams grow from when they took him to the tournament. He's the guy that's a great head coach. I think he'll have Virginia Tech ready. But the problem is, I don't think he can keep up with the depth. I don't think Tech may go 9 or I think goes 8 or 9 deep. I think Memphis can. We know Memphis can go 13. I think maybe 12, 13 deep. I think their length and their depth hires them. And plus, I think an up and down game favors Memphis. So I think Memphis can get the victory, and they get their first win as a top 10 team this year. I think this is the game for them to show that they're, like you said, Memphis 4-0, Tech 5-0. Someone's O has to go. So I think it's Memphis that gets the victory.
All right. You got anything to say, Brian?
Yeah, I'll have this, and then I want to hear your thoughts. I agree with a lot of what Leah said. It's just, but Virginia Tech, I saw a little bit. I haven't seen a lot. I just trust Mike Young over Penny Hardaway. And it's not a knock. It's just when you have a track record like him, you defer to him. And I feel like, if anything, like if it comes down which team can force the other team to play their style, I trust Virginia Tech over Memphis. I feel like Virginia Tech is going to slow this game down, and they're going to limit Memphis's transition opportunities, and then they'll be like, beat us with that 4 set, beat us that way. They'll turn the ball over a little bit because you're going to turn the ball over. game, but they're not going to allow Memphis to dictate the pace. I just don't see that happen. So can Memphis win if the pace isn't the way they want? And how half-court be so critical. How they do that will be critical to the impact of this game. But the defense, I think sometimes some of these stats can be misleading. I'm not saying they're not good at defense, but who have they played? Who have they played that's really good? Western Kentucky and St. Louis, they may make the tournament, but the first two teams they played were garbage. And so, if you really want to count their last two games, I think that's fair. They gave up 62 and they gave up 74. That's not awful, but that's not great. And one other thing I've been noticing is when they trap, sometimes when they trap, they don't realize. They realize that they probably realize that when they go back and look at the film, they give up a lot of layups on the traps because some of these guards get past the trap, and then there's nobody guarding one particular person, so that's 3 points. And so they got to be careful long term doing. I'm not saying they shouldn't press because they have success with it, but those little points add up. And against good teams, against bad teams, well, not bad teams, against teams you're a little bit more talented, then you'll probably beat them. But against teams that have equal talent or more skilled guys, you can't be given the free basket. So it'll be interesting to see how this team handles the environment. But again, I like the Hokies to win this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis wins. I can't wait. Let's see what you have to say, DB.
As far as I see it, man, I think Memphis can win this game. However, it is I think it's a primetime matchup on big stage. I believe the tournament's in New York, right? At the Garden?
Yeah, it's at the Barclays Center.
Yeah, pretty much. Big stage in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. Big environment, big time stage. I just like to see Memphis cut down on those turnovers, man. Cut down on those turnovers, maintain the pace. Don't try to get into start doing the hero ball stuff that I've seen them do over the years, these past 2 years, where they get these leads and they go away from what they were doing to get them the leads, and they start, I guess, experimenting with things, and they start turning the ball over, and that gives the other team opportunities to win, makes it interesting, and you have these nail biters that they shouldn't have. But I like what I saw in that last game. That last game, a good Jalen Duran went off. That just showed me that this team is better than what it was last season. I just think they got to maintain that. Take away the defense, just take away the things that Virginia Tech does best, and just maintain the lead in this game. Do what you have to do, and go home and win it. But I like what I see out of Memphis so far, and I don't think, compared to 2019 or 2020, I don't think we're gonna see any I would guess disruptions by the the NCAA or just the pandemic, cutting the season, just disrupting the season. I see this team is look like it's more together, more cohesion compared to those other squads. So we'll see how it goes. But I think Memphis wins it. I think they got enough experience on the roster right now to be in those, to play those type of games if it gets to comes to a crunch time. You got anything else?
Nothing. Leah, you got anything else?
Yeah, I think Memphis. Like when I was able to cover one of the games for my school paper. Like the Western, it wasn't the Western Kentucky game, but it was the game before that. Was it Western Kentucky? Yeah, it was. Might have been West Kentucky. No, it wasn't West Kentucky. But anyway, I pulled up the game. Yeah. What happened was, when really I made this team, for me, in my opinion, to think of it being different is like how I feel like somebody teams, but I feel like this team is special. Like they got grown men ready to play. Like Josh Manoy, Duran, Earl Tim, like they have grown men who are ready to play. You have their bench is phenomenal. I think this team, we talked about it in person. It's like they go from 0 to 100. Like they could have gone on a slump where they get outscored 10-0. Then all of a sudden they go on a 23 run. Like this team, like y'all, they're a treasure, and they're really. Hopefully they weather this because, like you talked about, we have Tech coming up. They got to get this. They could play Xavier. If we're not, I think if I'm mistaken, Xavier beat Ohio State. So it'll be big for Memphis to show that they belong in that top 10. That they're going to be possibly knocking on the door for a top 5 spot.
Yeah.
It's possible. Definitely possible.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. Looking forward to it. I like what I see with the team, man, so far. I like it. Hopefully they can remain to play like this throughout the year. I'm looking forward to seeing that Houston matchup with Calvin Sampson. To see how they match up in conference play. But looking forward to tomorrow's game between these two programs. But we'll see how it goes. But also, man, one more thing.
Wait, can I say one more thing about this really quick? It's going to be interesting because Landers not only will be playing his old team in Virginia Tech, so I'm going to be intrigued to see how he handles the moment. Because I'm not going to say he's going to play like this, but what's his name? Jordan Nesbitt, when he played against Memphis, he was all like, it just was out of control. It's tough to see. I know Landers is a veteran player, and he comes off the bench, so that will help him instead of starting. But I want to see how he handles the moment.
That's a great point that you just made, because but the good thing about Memphis plays in a system where no one has to do too much. So he won't have to play. He won't be put in. It's like every time he gets on the court, he's gonna take bad shots. They don't take bad shots. They don't. He'll be fine. But that is a very good point that you make, because a lot of guys, they play against their old schools like they make their own agenda, and it kind of gets off the team's agenda script. They kind of can ruin a groove or ruin a vibe. But I think that he'll play within the system, and I feel like he'll play well.
All right, that's cool. Hopefully, man. The emotions don't get involved. It keeps them in check against Virginia Tech. Well, anyways, man, that's all I have for y'all for right now. Just give us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. You saw this on YouTube. Listen to this on Apple. Just give us a 5-star rating. Hate, like, comment, subscribe. Follow the podcast. Listen to this Anchor, Spotify. Just give us a follow, and just be on the lookout for our content. With that being said, for the crew, Brian, Leo, have a blessed night. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see y'all next Tuesday. We out. Peace.
Peace out.
All right.
Peace.